Dispatch, we have the suspect in custody.
Bring him in. Interrogator Dong is good to go.
Alright, bring him in.
Mr. Billups, I am Ronald D. Dong, an interrogator for the Starch Cola Enforcers. I have here the case file for the love letter murderer, the one that you turned in, correct?
That is correct. I am, in fact, the very person who solved the case.
Yes, it seems you were. Would you mind telling me exactly how you caught the killer? The details around your investigation are dubious at best.
Well, of course I will. I presume you wish for me to start from the beginning. I mean, after all, you'll need the expertise in my noggin in order to incarcerate the fiend.
Jesus, yeah, start from the beginning. But for the love of God, please speak plain English.
Alright, jeez. Where's the love for showmanship these days?
Let me think. It all began Monday, January 2nd, in the district of Broome. I was getting a meal at the 24/7 diner. I could barely afford the wiener and cola, and what little money I had left I was gonna use at the hotel to escape the blistering cold. That's when I opted to check the city hall across the street. I thought that they surely would have some work. I checked the listings and was left, disappointed by the options.
Oh, God, is that cum? Did this guy get cum on his fucking piece of paper? Fucking Kirby?
But I saw a job that seemed to be a proper investigation, and I decided to take it. I dialed up the number on the listing and spoke with the man offering. I had just gotten off the phone with him when my scanner informed me of the first murder at Fukuda Towers. I've seen the rewards for civilians who are able to give leads, and I figured it would pay way more if I not only handed in some leads, but the killer themselves. So, I rushed over as fast as I could. I even beat the enforcer to the floor of the murder. The security door had been closed, but once the enforcers arrived, I followed them inside and hid under the bed until they left. That's when my investigation truly began. I started by exploring the house, and I soon found the victim's body. After examination, I poked around his apartment and recorded my findings. Now, before you see this, please note that I am a professional. However, it was really late at night, and I was very, very tired.
Okay, I think that's... Fuck. Oh, shit. Fuck. This guy gonna move this. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Alright. Over here should be good. Alright. Okay. Jeff is dead. We know that Jeff is dead because I examined his corpse. I was in his home. And Jeff's corpse has a fucking 9mm hole in it, presumably from a bullet. How do we know it was 9mm? I stuck my pinky in there. Now, some might say that this is an inaccurate way of telling if this is a 9mm hole. I beg to differ, because I stuck my pinky in there, and I wiggled it around, I did the rotate, 90 degrees left, 90 degrees right, and I pulled it out, pushed it in, right? I tested how slick it was going in and out. The reason we know it's 9mm specifically is because my pinky is kind of 9mm, and when I pushed it in, there was a little bit of resistance, but not too much. It was pretty slick going in, and it wasn't too loose going out, which means it wasn't bigger or it wasn't smaller. So, that's how we know it's 9mm. Now, additionally, we also know that he died on Monday, January 2nd, 1979, between 7 and 8 p.m. Now, how do we know this? Well, again, pinky in the hole. I felt it, and his body was pretty fucking cold, but I could still feel some warmth radiating off of it, which is good. That's a good sign. Not good necessarily because he's dead, but it means that he wasn't killed too long after I got there. Now, I got there a couple hours later, and I estimated the time of death between 7 and 8 p.m. based on how still warm the body was. Now, interestingly, Jeff's body was also found with a heart drawn around it, and it was in blood. How do I know it was blood? Well, pinky in the substance, swirl technique. Yep, that's blood. That's how we know. Now, Jeff was found, again, in his home at 1203 Fukuda Towers. Now, in his home, there was 2 items of interest, notable interest, rather, because he had some random bullshit in there. We don't need to talk about that. The first thing was the pool of blood. Now, not entirely uncommon to find a pool of blood in the same home as someone who's been fucking killed, but it could be someone else's blood, and that's the interesting thing. However, more interestingly, I found this, a schizo note. It was actually multiple notes, but it's easier to draw one piece of paper, so we're going to go with that. Now, these notes talked about a tall, 6 foot tall, very specific, blonde woman that Jeff thought was following him around. Jeff asked his building supervisor if that was the case, so the supervisor checked the cameras and wrote Jeff back saying, "There's no one fucking following you, you're a fucking crazy psychopath, shut the fuck up." But then he clearly was still worried, and he eventually was killed. And this could be a clue as to who killed Jeff. Could be 6 foot tall blonde woman. That could be what we should be focusing on, how we should be looking for a 6 foot tall blonde woman. But I have something else that's much more important to focus on, and the fact that Jeff is a fucking idiot. This man had a woman, a 6 foot tall blonde woman, following him around, and his first instinct was, "Oh, I'm scared of that." Yeah. What about horny? Like, Jeff, what are you doing, man?
We can just skip through this. Yeah, we don't need to hear this. Eventually, I came to the conclusion that because I was in a building, there had to be cameras. So to find the killer, I just have to see who went into Jeff's apartment at the time of the murder. I found the security room, and fortunately for me, the door was unlocked. Things would not be so easy though. See, while the door was open and ready for poking, the computer was locked like Knox. With the cruncher being a temporary dead end, I opted to snoop around the office. I was able to collect info on some of the residents, and in my search, I attempted to sniff out a passcode, but no dice. And that's when I realized I had made the most rookie mistake of my career. I forgot to grab fingerprints. So I went back up to the apartment, distracted the guard,
Good night.
and got the fingy prints of Jeff and Type C, which I imagined had to be the killer. After I left the apartment for a second time, I came down the stairs right as the security guard was stepping into office. So I waited for him to enter his passcode, dipped a pinky toe in the door. He and his gun really didn't like that. And then I hid downstairs after he gave chase. Once I was in the clear, I snuck into his office and got to digging. Turns out that the 12th floor of the towers has no cameras. Very unfortunate, but I got creative. I looked at the 11th floor and saw everyone who went up on the day of Jeff's murder. I know the killer is likely to be female, so I tagged each one that I saw, which ended up being 3. The next step was to figure out who and who didn't live in the towers. I figured the murderer had to be a non-resident. Thus, whoever went above the 11th floor on Monday who didn't live there must have been the killer. And so I went to do some door knocking. But as I did, I made a horrific discovery. Oh, I set the security system to flag everybody. Shit. Oh god, there's been people getting murdered out here. Oh, dear God. Okay. Oh, no. People have been... Oh, my. Oh, no. Oh, no. I need to fix that. I need to fix that. I need to fix that. I asked some of the residents about the suspects I found. I learned where they'd been seen, but more specifically, I learned from an enforcer that one of the suspects, whom I'll refer to as Orange Smorange, was seen on the 12th story landing at 8 p.m., which was 1 hour after the estimated time of death. All I needed to know now was who and who wasn't a resident. And I thought the best person to ask was someone intimately familiar with the building. Lucky for me, Mr. Shoot First and Never Ask Questions didn't remember my face. From him, I found out that all suspects except for Orange Smorange lived in the towers, and Orange Smorange was seen by that security officer in the building on the 12th floor just 1 hour after the murder. I had Orange dead to rights near the scene of the crime soon after it had been committed. I had a face, now all I needed was a name, but I also needed food in my bottomless belly, so I swung by the diner to review everything I had thus far.
And this is where things take a turn in your... investigation.
I wouldn't say that.
Uh-huh. 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 And please, Mr. Billups, tell me, how would you say it went?
Well, you say things took a turn. I would say things went slightly off the beaten path.
So, I went to the Walker House Manufacturing to see if anybody there could tell me who Orange Smorange was. And, to my dismay, the first person I spoke to was a gluttonous bitch. Okay. No one else in that building was very eager to help me either. Even the security guard was a tight-lipped scoundrel. I had a feeling that something was certainly off about the place, and I needed to know what. Sorry about this, Jarek. I needed to act fast before the guard woke up, so I checked the camera to see when Smorange was last in the building. Unfortunately, some mysterious happenstance prompted a neighbor to go poking around. Oh, fuck. I knew I needed to get out of the office before this evildoer helped the guard, but this blocky bitch blocked my escape. I was forced to fall back on my last resort of violence, but fucking fists are no match for bullets. Shit. I had some time to think in the hospital. I reflected on what had occurred at the Walker House. I thought about what I could have done better. And that's when I realized I forgot to check the resident files. With those, I could have gotten an address, and more importantly, a name. Once I was released from the hospital, I ran back to the Walker House Manufacturing, bashed the guard's head in for a second time, and checked the resident folders. But I got nothing. I checked the security cam footage again, and once more, nothing. I even snooped around the guard's personal V-mail, and that too came up empty.
Alright, I think we're done here.
Done? What do you mean we're done? I haven't even concluded my case.
Oh, I've read the file. Calling what's left of this monstrosity a case would be like foregoing the "is a hot dog a sandwich" argument, and just calling it a Subway Schmeatstickle.
Come on. At least hear my personal account out through to the end. I mean, I caught the killer.
Oh, I don't get paid enough to deal with these lunatics. Fine, but get to the point. No more showmanship, just give me the facts. Or so help me, I'll send you so deep into the Starch Cola prison even the ads won't be able to find you.
Okay, so the main problem I was having was the lack of a name, and without it, no address, and no easy way to find Orange Smorange. My first step in trying to unearth a name was going around the city asking if anyone had seen her. These conversations were unfruitful, vague, and pointless at best. Then I realized I may be digging in the wrong direction. Jeff wrote a lot of notes. It's clear his marbles rattled a bit, and despite trying to convince himself otherwise, he put in a report to Tristan Golly, the building supervisor, about someone following him. I got an address and headed over. A man who I presumed to be Mr. Golly opened the door. He was less than compliant with giving me the info I needed, and, well... The man owned some stuff, some interesting stuff, but thus far I hadn't found anything worthwhile to the case. Until I saw a work ID on the counter. So he wasn't Tristan Golly after all. Oh well. I went to the diner for a quick thinking session. I couldn't afford a beer, so I got a starch cola and some chicken instead. I pondered what evidence I had, but I didn't have any leads beyond a set of initials, a fingerprint, and a face, which, shockingly, really wasn't enough to do anything with. Jeff was seen around Ginger Conglomerate. Maybe there were some clues there. I walked over at a loss. I did my usual routine. I talked to people, scrounged around for any information, and that's when... Wait. Again? Again at the Fugata? Wait, what? The killer had struck again. And while an innocent life taken is never good, it opened up an opportunity. With a fresh crime and a fresh victim, surely there would be something linking these cases to the killer.
Yes, and it would appear you broke into an active crime scene for a second time to try and find more leads, after failing to find any trace of the killer with evidence that most enforcers would sell their left nut to get.
Yeah. I wouldn't be talking such high praise for your enforcers.
Oh, you nasty fucker. Dude, you went into the victim's house and you just dropped a fat shit? Once the enforcers left, I poked around, gathering what new evidence I could. And lipstick. It's lipstick. But, evidently, I wasn't paying attention. Oh my god! After the fall, things became fuzzy. I remember going back to the crime scene, but an enforcer was blocking my way. I had a bandage, and I knew I needed to distract them, but it all went terribly. I tried to juke the enforcer, but after running past them, I missed the floor where the crime scene was. Then I stumbled trying to grab the bandage I had thrown, and accidentally ran into someone else's apartment. Finally, I made it into the victim's unit, and using my door sorcery, I was able to trick the enforcer into leaving.
What? Door sorcery?
Yeah, I'm not elaborating.
Let's see. From there, I know I looked for more evidence. I think I found a page out of a romance book, or maybe a spy thriller. I found the victim's name and a bullet casing. I admired the pretty design around the body. I spoke with some people. I saw a man with red on him. Figured he might be the killer, so I beat the shit out of him. He wasn't. What else? Oh! I went back to find Tristan. They weren't home. Or were they? I think I caught them just as they got back. He said that Jeff was a friend and that he was murdered. Which, yeah, I knew that. I was investigating another lead when I remember the scanner going off. Yet another murder, and once more at the towers. I made it to the towers, but my head was hurting and my stomach was woozy. I couldn't enter the apartment yet anyways, because the enforcers were there. So I sat on a nearby bench and, passed out. I woke up a while later with a much clearer head. Someone had moved me, but nothing was stolen. I decided to poke around and see what had occurred with the last murder, and try to pick up some leads. With a bit too much spring in my step, I asked some residents, and finally got something conclusive. Yin, a worker at the Walker House Manufacturing Enterprises, seen somewhere around Fukuda Towers. That was it. The case would finally be done and dusted. I set off to claim my bounty when the scanner went off. I wouldn't even need to find Yin. It seemed that she had come to me. I ran all the way up the tower, heart racing, blood pumping, fully erect with the anticipation of closing this case and getting a sweet payout. Bringing the criminal to justice. I waited for the security door to open, and finally, I was face to face with the killer. Who the fuck is this? Oh my god, wait, is this the killer? Is this the fucking killer? Is this the killer? Wait, hang on, no, wait, moment of... Oh yeah, dirty napkin, yeah, I already figured this out. Hang on, wait, no. 4. This is the killer! What the fuck? This is the killer! This is her! So, I knew who the real killer was now, but at the time, I didn't have the means or the funds to get the means to arrest her. So I took the money and the key from her wallet, saw firsthand how incompetent your enforcers are, and went to the town hall to arm myself. I bought some handcuffs and an incapacitator grenade. The only obstacle in my way now was the fact that our killer was a part of the upper crust, and I couldn't step foot near her apartment unless I disabled the camera. After a quick recovery and a light jog across town, I opted to run straight past the camera and into the apartment, which worked better than I could have hoped. The noise attracted the killer, and my Chadley presence clearly disoriented her. She ran straight past me, allowing for the third worst throw ever of all time. And with a click of the cuffs, a straightforward confession, and all the boxes checked off, the case of the love letter murderer was solved.
Well, after a thorough investigation into this case, I can confirm that somehow you miraculously caught the killer. If using nothing but incredible luck.
Amazing. So, shall we go to the town hall for my award ceremony?
Ceremony? Sure, we're gonna gift you your very own private suite.
Really? But where?
Only in the illustrious, the elegant, the opulent, and luxurious maximum security prison located just outside Broome.
Wait, you're arresting me? How can you do that? I caught the killer! I made this district a safer place for everybody!
You also committed multiple break-ins, assaults using heavy doors, and Miss Shui has requested you not be allowed within 50 feet of her.
What? She was the prime suspect in a murder case! I couldn't even figure out the bitch's name!
Well, now you know. Guards! Take him away!